G'day guys, David here from the Xylem Zone again, another property con to put out there and just some things you should be careful of and potential mistakes. Today I'm going to talk about off the plan but a slightly different angle. I want to talk about commercial properties or service departments. Now you may have been attracted to different marketing from different companies promising these amazing rental returns where you might be able to get 10% plus for a rent, and it really sounds attractive because the yields sound awesome, and for the product they're selling, quite often that's a service department, which is usually 25 square meters, or maybe even a dual key where there's two of them joined together and you get two rents. So again, in many cases they may give you the person who's an on-site manager or runs the building or owns the building, like Quest Apartments or different things, may give you a guaranteed rent, or you own it yourself and they rent it out for you. But it's not done on obviously a long-term lease, it's done on a short-term lease. Now, what are the potential risks that you could face in that scenario? Well, one, you've got risk for occupancy. So you may get a higher price per night, but if your occupancy for the year is only 30%, your rent is going to be a hell of a lot lower than what it would be if you had a long-term lease. Also, what are the factors in regard to who is it attracting? That could be a demographic that's focused on tourism in a location. If we have an economic downturn and we have a disaster like we've had, mad cow disease and all these different things overseas, SARS, different than people stop traveling to a certain location, then the reality is there can be a downturn in the economic sector that also can affect your clients turning up, which can affect your occupancy as well. Now that's more on your cash flow side, but what else is there on your cash flow? Well, a service department is a service department. That means there's someone usually in there changing linen, maintaining the apartment, cleaning the apartment. There's a lot more work to updo it. It's not like a long-term lease where you just give the lease over to you've got a property manager, give it over to the client, you've got a property manager does 2 or 3 inspections a year, and they're responsible for it. You've got someone else and is coming in, and they're kind of expecting to stay like a hotel. So your costs, even though the yield might be hard, your costs can add up to be thousands of dollars. It might be, I had one client that bought one in Surfers Paradise in Gold Coast, and their costs were $15,000 a year to hold that property alone before they made any money, and there was an oversupply and their rents dropped, so that was sending them backwards every single year, and it was really affecting their lives, and they had no money to actually live. And the valuations of the properties, because they were a smaller apartment in an area overvalued, were substantially diminished, so it tied up their capital. They couldn't get any money out, the values dropped. Also, if it's going to be a service department, it's often considered by banks, and you need to check with a broker, to be a commercial property. So then your lending is not residential because you're getting a commercial return. So you may only get LVRs of 60, 70, 80%. What does that mean? You've got to come up with a much, much larger deposit. So really keep an eye out for this style of property, because plenty of people jump on a plane, go to a place like Gold Coast, go up to Cairns, and they see these attractive yields and they think, well, I love it here, other people are going to love it here. They don't read the small print, they don't look into the detail, and it can be a real trap that can tie them up for years. And one, their negative cash flow; two, their values drop; three, they can't get any equity out; and fourth, now their opportunity costs to do anything else have been limited because that lending stops them doing other things. And if they're getting closer to retirement age or they're in their mid-30s, 40s, you don't want to have a property that you've got to hold on to for 10, 15 years that's a dud and sucking you dry and limiting your overall growth strategy for your portfolio. So read the small print, make sure you've got someone, you talk to a broker first about the lending, and you check the supply and demand, and also check about who the operator is and what their history is and have they been around a long time, because also a non-credible operator can make your life hell and increase costs without even kind of telling you. So you really do need to do your homework and look at the small print. Anyway, that's another con from David from the Xylem Zone, a little bit more specific today. Hopefully that's helped you, and have a great day.